Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. And the thing is, sometimes life can be quite stressful, it can be quite chaotic, and sometimes you just really need to center yourself and just calm your ass down. So that's what this video is about. So today I'm going to be trying out a water board thing. The original one of these is called a Buddha board, but I bought like a knockoff one because the original is so expensive.
You cheap bastard.
And this is all to do with like Zen and getting into that kind of Zen state. And then I was thinking, if I'm getting into a Zen state, what's the best thing that could accompany this? And then I had an idea. Absinthe. Duh. Now this might seem like a strange option to have for like a Zen kind of video, but back in the day they used to drink absinthe and they used to like hallucinate and stuff, didn't they? So they must have been pretty chilled. As you can see with mine, it's got a picture of Van Gogh on, and Van Gogh, he used to drink absinthe all the time, and that's why he was so creative. He also chopped his ear off, but I don't think that had anything to do with absinthe. And even if it does, I've got two, so I'm fine with losing one. So let's have a Zen calm day of water drawing and absinthe drinking. I'm gonna get so shit-faced, it's unreal. Okay, so I think we'll start off with the absinthe first, and obviously prepare myself a drink to get into that kind of accurate state of mind. And I don't think I've ever had absinthe. No, that's a lie. I have had absinthe before. It was in a pub called the Shakespeare in Durham. I don't know whether it's still around. But I had absinthe when I was already very drunk, so I can't really remember what it was like. I think that's the only time I've ever had it. I bought this one, which looks very nice. It looks quite fancy. It's called, what's it called? Absinthe. It is absinthe, isn't it? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is, yeah. And on the box, apparently it says that today absinthe. Why do they call it absinthe for? Is that the name of this absinthe? I don't know. But today absinthe evokes the glamour and mystical allure of the green fairy absinthe. Is a modern version of the original absinthe recipe. So this is a modern version of it, okay. The only difference is a low concentration of fujone, one of the active components of wormwood, in compliance with most current regulations. Yeah, because I did do a little bit of research.
Are you feeling okay?
And back in the day when they used to drink absinthe, it actually had a higher concentrate of that fujone stuff, which is from wormwood, which was apparently a psychedelic kind of ingredient. But they obviously had to reduce it for modern day consumption. Okay, let's get into it. Oh, it's never a cork, is it? So this is 55% alcohol, which I don't think is that strong. I wonder what flavour it is. And it's got one of these little things on it as well, which I need, because I'm going to try and do it the traditional way of using water and sugar, because there are specific ways you're supposed to drink absinthe. I have done a little bit of research, I know. I bet everyone's very surprised. No, I haven't done loads of research though, so I could just be talking out my ass. Oh, that's cool though, isn't it? So it's come with like a little, like Van Gogh serving spatula. This'll come into play in a second. That's really nice, isn't it? Okay, so I've got a glass. I'm only gonna have like a little glass for now, just to see what it's like. And I'm wondering whether this is corked. Oh no, it's not good. Oh, it is corked. Oh, love that sound. What does it smell like? It smells a bit aniseedy. It doesn't smell like too potent. It actually smells quite nice. It's got a hint of like sambuca smell though, and I can't stand sambuca. In fact, it's got a strong smell of sambuca. Oh, that's worrying. Okay, so I need to pour my absinthe into here. Very green. Very, very green. Doesn't look particularly appetizing, does it? And then the proper traditional way with this is you get like this glass tower and you fill it with water and ice, and it has little taps on the side, and you use the nozzle and you drip ice cold water over a sugar cube into the absinthe. Those things cost a fortune, and I was only ever going to probably use it once, so I didn't buy one. But I do have this little thing that we just pop over the top. I've got some sugar cubes. I've just realized I've bought sugar cubes that aren't actually sugar, so that's not how you spell sugar. I thought they were real sugar cubes. It's not. It's an artificial sugar. Hopefully it'll be okay. It'll be the same. Okay, and then we just put our sugar cube over the top. I've got some cold water here. It's not ice cold because I don't have any ice. And you're supposed to just be able to drip this over the top of the sugar cube. And then it's also supposed to change the colour of the absinthe, I think. I can't see it doing anything with the absinthe. It doesn't look like much is happening. Well, that didn't really do anything. I'm also not entirely sure what I'm supposed to be looking for, but that doesn't look like anything's happened to it. Okay, anyway, we'll take this off and give this a little taste. I'm a little bit concerned. Cheers, everyone. Smooth. Ooh, yeah. That's strong. Very strong. If you've never had absinthe before, it's definitely got a sambuca feel about it. It is so hot. It's almost like just burnt on my throat. It's got a nice flavour to it though, but it is really, really powerful. Believe it or not, before I started this, I was gonna pour myself a glass of absinthe like this, and then last minute I decided to go for a small one. I'm so glad I did. I don't know whether I want to take a second drink of that. It's like poison. It'll definitely put some hair on your chest, and I just shaved all mine off. Oh wait, it's starting to take over now. I feel so creative and so at peace. I see the fairies, they're all around us. They're not really, I think I just edited some fairies into this video. The thing is, if people were necking this back in the day, no wonder they went like crazy and hallucinated and stuff. Like, what were they expecting? No wonder Van Gogh cut his ear off. I'm only joking, I'm not gonna cut my ear off. I'm surprised any of them lived, like, any longer than a couple of years drinking that. And, back in the day, this used to be stronger. This is 55% volume. I think back in the day it used to be 70% volume. I'll leave my drink to one side for now, because I just need to just be at peace with it. But we will open this little water board, see what this is like. Okay, so it's come in this little case. I'm assuming this side's the water bit. Right, and I've got some water here. I feel like I haven't explained this very well at what I'm doing, because that absinthe's like completely taken us by surprise. But basically, this water drawn thing is just like a very temporary artist canvas thing. So you draw your little painting here and then it disappears and then you can draw another one. It's all got to do with Zen stuff. So let's give this a go. What do I want to draw? I'll draw an ear. Why not? Oh, okay. This is actually really nice to draw on. Okay, can we tell this is an ear? I have to be quick because the drawing just disappears. I think that kind of looks like an ear. I've drawn Van Gogh's missing ear. If he wants it back, he can come and get it. If like, well, he's dead, so he can't. Okay, that was interesting. I don't understand what the point of this bit is. Oh, I can do that. And the original Buddha board is a much bigger one than this. This is just a little tiny thing. This was still expensive, mine. The original Buddha board was really expensive, but this was cheaper, but still, like, not cheap. And then as you can see, the little painting, it just gradually starts to disappear. How interesting is that? I don't know what it's made out of. Obviously some sort of, like, magic stuff. And also, while you're waiting for your drawing to disappear, you can reflect on life, you can take in kind of the air, and have a little drink of your absinthe. I'm so at peace. Do people actually drink absinthe? Do they like sit at home and be like, you know what, I'm gonna have a glass of absinthe tonight, just to unwind? I don't think so.
I don't think.
Actually, you know what? It's getting less burny. That was a lot smoother, that swig. Are you getting better? Or am I just getting a little bit tipsy? Okay, so that painting's pretty much disappeared. So now I can just draw another one. I wonder why people did this for. I'm gonna, like, actually, you know, spit out some facts just so people understand what it means. Because I have a habit of just, I don't know, not explaining anything properly. Yeah, so apparently the purpose of this Buddha board water thing, it just says to paint on the surface with water and watch your creation come to life. As the water slowly evaporates, your art will magically disappear, leaving you with a clean state and clear mind. Mine looks exactly the same as theirs. I don't think mine was much cheaper, actually. I think it was the same price. Okay, let's try something else. I want to try a more peaceful painting. So maybe it's like a nice little landscape. I find the only issue with something like this is, imagine if you created like an amazing painting, something you would never ever be able to recreate again, and you absolutely loved it, and then you just had to sit there and watch it disappear in front of your eyes. You'd be livid. But maybe it's teaching you a lesson about how everything in the world isn't permanent and things come to an end and you have to come to peace with it, or something like that. It is a little bit tricky to create quite detailed pictures, because as soon as you start adding extra little bits and stuff, the rest of your painting starts to disappear. So I feel like you have to be quick. You know what? I honestly think I'm better at drawing and better at painting on this thing than I am with actual paint. I think it's because there's no pressure, because obviously it's all disappearing, so you just don't kind of care that much. I feel when I'm properly painting or properly drawing or something like that, I feel like a little bit more pressure. Whereas this, it doesn't matter if you create like a proper shitter, because it's just gonna all disappear on you. Right, okay, quickly show you my painting before it all disappears. I think that's, I haven't taken a photo of it. I need to take a photo first, otherwise it'll all be lost. I think that's quite nice though. These are the mountains, or the hills at the front, and then we've got the sun up there and some clouds and like a bit of air and sky and stuff. It's all disappearing on us though. This was way more detailed, and then all the bits started to go. But also I would find, say like I went through some sort of trauma or something, and I was trying to create something and hang on to it, and you couldn't because it kept disappearing before your eyes. It might cause someone like a nervous breakdown, mightn't it? But it also might be therapy and teaching you a lesson, and you might find it helpful. I don't know. Let's have a little bit more absinthe. It's definitely getting better. The burn isn't as strong. Before, the burn was like really like hot. It's hot in my throat. As it goes on, it definitely feels smoother. I think this kind of alcohol, it's not really a shot alcohol or anything. It's more of like a sipping drink. You just need to take light little sips, and then after a couple of hours, you're on the floor. I'm just having a little break while my painting disappears, and just like relaxing and chilling and just contemplating what life's all about, you know? Have you ever been in one of those like headspaces or those moments where you try to contemplate the meaning of life?
Oh God, here we go.
And then you kind of spiral and your mind goes kind of out of control as you try and piece everything together and nothing makes sense, and then you really question your existence and why you're here on planet Earth. And then you just feel really weird. I've done that a couple of times. I used to do it a lot when I was younger, actually. I don't do it as much now as an adult, but as a young person, like a child, I used to always question, like, what is the point? Like, I watched this thing with, is he called Dr. Brian Cox? That's his second name. And he was talking about, like, the universe and galaxies and stuff, and where we are in the universe, and how we can see only so much of the universe. But he was putting it into perspective of how big everything is. And obviously what we can see doesn't mean that it just doesn't go on forever and ever and ever. Imagine like an infinite universe where it just doesn't stop. It just doesn't end. And then you could get into one of them headspaces, don't you, where you just freak out a little bit. I don't know whether anyone else feels like that or whether that's just me. I'm sure everyone else has been there. I don't think like that too much though, because it's just a waste of time. I think sometimes we have to realise that not everything has an answer. It's a bit of advice for you. Okay, I can create another painting now. It takes not a lot of time, but also quite a long time for your painting to disappear. So if you're an impatient person, like me, you might struggle. I'm going to try and create like a portrait. I swear, if this portrait that I create, not of me, just like of the face, is really good, and all my other paintings and all my other portraits have been terrible, but this ends up being amazing, I'm going to be livid. I'm going to be so mad. Because it'll disappear and I'll have no proof. Quickly, I'm gonna have to show you before it disappears. This is kind of a good portrait for someone like me. That looks like a proper face, doesn't it, compared to my other ones? I've had to keep going over and over it again because it just keeps disappearing on us. It's not fair. Oh, I've dribbled on it too. His eye's gone weird. It didn't look like that before. That actually looked like a really good portrait compared to my other ones. Compared to stuff like that, it looked amazing. I'm just thinking as well, this might be kind of like a good thing for someone who's got hoarder issues. And I'm not just talking about me, but I'm talking about people in general who struggle to let go of things because you can't keep it. You can't. Well, to be fair, I could probably find a way because I've taken photos of them all and then I could just print them out and keep them. So there's always a way around stuff, isn't there? Yeah, maybe it's not that great. Time for an absinthe break. Oh, it does taste nice though. It's got a nice flavour. It's got a sambuca flavour, but it's not as sambuca. It's not as sambuca-y. I can't talk. It's not as sambuca as sambuca is, but it's definitely got some sort of anisey flavour. What flavour's in it? Alcohol, sugar, absinthe plants, infusion, and essences. Colouring agents E102 and E133. So the reason it's green isn't because of anything, it's just because of the food colouring. It's made in France as well. I hope not everyone in France is drinking this. Could get nothing done. Right, shall we try another drawing? I know it's not for... Hang on, maybe it's if I blow it. That gets rid of it quicker. I've also gotten incredibly lightheaded. I've been doing quite fine lines. What happens if we do really, really thick lines? I'll try a tree. You can never go wrong with a tree, can you? That doesn't look like a tree at all. I think I got a bit too excited with that one. I'll tell you what this looks like. You know when they do the ink block tests, what are they called? A rakashaw? No. There's a special name and I can't think of it off the top of my head. It reminds me of that. But there we go, a tree that doesn't really look like a tree. I tried to add some, ooh look. Oh, we're getting drips. Hang on, if I tilt it that way, it could be a swing. Wait, stop. A tree swing. Nah, I just fixed it. I just added an extra little detail to it. But yeah, it doesn't really look like a tree, does it? And now we just chill again and wait for my painting to disappear. Do I want to go for another drink of absinthe? I'll have a little sip, why not? It really tingles your tongue. When it gets on your tongue, it proper like tingles. Ew, that was gross. Don't do that again. Okay, I'm just thinking as well. I know there's still like a bit of drawn on this side. I'm just wondering if I can get a fingerprint off it. Because that could be interesting, couldn't it? No, it doesn't pick up the detail of a fingerprint, it just leaves a blob. But you could easily draw with your fingers too if you wanted to. It doesn't need to be a paintbrush. I think I'm done with it. I don't really think it's an activity for me. It's interesting and I can kind of see the point of it, but I don't think I would ever kind of take this out on a daily basis or even a weekly basis or even a yearly basis and be like, oh, I'm just going to do a bit of water drawing. I know there'll be loads of people out there who will really enjoy it and find it very relaxing, but whilst I'm doing something like this, I would be constantly thinking about what else I could be doing. Not in a bad way or a mean way, but just like, I've got loads of other things to do. Why am I doing a temporary I know it's for relaxation stuff. I can't relax. I'm the kind of person, I really struggle to relax. I like to be busy and on the go and doing stuff. I don't like to just kind of sit and do nothing. Well, I like to sit and be with myself, but I do it in a weird, I just talk to myself kind of way. And that's what grounds me. But this would distract us from me talking to myself, and that's what I really enjoy. Pisces might understand it. I think a lot of Pisces will talk to themselves, but a lot of other people won't really talk to themselves. But I have full-on conversations with myself. That's why I always say I don't think I could ever be lonely. Like, loneliness wouldn't be a concept for me because I always keep myself not lonely. I can't think of the other word. I think I'm getting a little bit tipsy off the absinthe as well. So that just about does it for today's Zen relaxing video, even though it wasn't really that kind of video. Hopefully you have enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. But anyway, I'm gonna go away and not finish the rest of this absinthe because I've got a lot to do today and I don't want to be proper decked by it. I'm recording this video in the afternoon as well. Usually I record in the morning. I'm recording it once I've had lunch. If I hadn't had lunch, the little amount that I drank would have really taken us off my feet. So at least that's a good thing. But I'll see you next week for a far less boozy video. I hope it's less boozy. I don't know what I'm doing. Imagine if you managed to drink a full bottle. You would die. There's absolutely no way you could drink a full bottle of this. You would kill yourself.